Today, we embark on a captivating journey into the world of a visionary artist whose works have left an indelible mark on the canvas of imagination. We will explore the enigmatic and mesmerizing creations of Bruce Pennington. He is a true master of the brush and is celebrated for his ability to transport us to realms beyond our wildest dreams. His unique artistic style seamlessly merges science fiction, fantasy, and surrealism. Bruce Pennington was born in May 10 of 1944 in Great Britain with an innate talent and insatiable hunger for exploring uncharted territories. Bruce Pennington's artistic journey has been one of constant evolution and discovery. In his beginning, his works were far from the fantasy and science fiction style that would later make him famous. His works were in keeping with the style that was prevalent in the 60s, with a loose and somewhat crude style, very popular in the advertising, book covers, and magazines of that time. He also freely used photographic references, as was common among most artists in those years. After working in some agencies by the mid-60s, he decided to work on his own, something that at first was not so lucrative for this British artist, since at the beginning he could barely keep afloat with the small local commissions. He stayed that way for several months until the beginning of 1967. By that time, his portfolio was in the hands of Panther Books, which were impressed with his illustration skills and commissioned his first book cover. This was Vladimir Nabokov's The Defense, with such a good result that he was commissioned 3 more covers and an illustration for Mayfair magazine.
By the start of 1968, I was starting to exude a modest kind of confidence as other publishers were beginning to give me work. This was mainly in the form of a romantic novel, a history of the Second World War, and 2 spy thrillers. I even got a horror story to illustrate from Mayfair magazine.
In the fall of that same year would come the first science fiction-related work, with his first commission for Robert Heinlein's A Stranger in a Strange Land for the New English Library, which, like Panther, was influenced by the works in his portfolio. This would be the starting point of a career that would turn him into a reference artist in this genre during the 70s and 80s. Bruce Pennington produced over 200 book covers for many of the most famous authors in the fields of fantasy and science fiction, such as Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Frank Herbert, among many others. Through his illustrations, Pennington has not only brought these great scenes to life, but has also left an indelible mark in the collective imagination of readers worldwide.
Throughout that period, I was getting deeply immersed in Catholic mysticism and the prophecies of the French physician Nostradamus in particular. My bedroom studio at that time had begun to look like a tiny chapel, complete with candles and religious figurines.
His iconic book covers possess a remarkable ability to transport viewers to realms beyond the realm of the everyday. Each composition is meticulously crafted, merging elements of science fiction and fantasy with a touch of surrealism. Pennington's mastery lies not only in his technical skill, but also in his profound understanding of the essence and themes of the stories he illustrates. One of Pennington's signature traits in his meticulous attention to detail, his brush work is precise, bringing to life the intricate architecture, intricate machinery, and fantastical creatures that populate his compositions. Each stroke of the brush serves a purpose, contributing to the overall narrative and immersing the viewer in the story's universe. Color plays a crucial role in Pennington's work, as he expertly employs a rich palette to evoke different moods and atmospheres. Whether it's the vibrant hues of an alien sunset or the cool blues and grays of a futuristic cityscape, his color choices enhance the emotional impact of his illustrations.
With the success of the cover, especially with the author others followed, I also picked up an award along the way from the British Fantasy Society. Throughout the rest of the 80s, a steady flow of work kept me going.
Throughout the 90s, Pennington's book covers began to decline mostly due to the advent of digital art. However, some interesting projects appeared, such as Tad Williams' books Child of an Ancient City and Caliban's Hour. Bruce Pennington's artistry extends beyond the realms of literature and encompasses the world of music album covers. His evocative and visually striking illustrations have graced the covers of numerous albums. Some of the bands fortunate to boast Pennington's artwork on their covers include Satar, a science fiction-themed black death metal band based in Austin, Texas, but with members from France and Ecuador. Yo No Sé, a Bristol-based hard rock grunge heavy psych band. Apollo 80, a heavy psych space band based in Perth, Australia. Octopus, a heavy metal band based in Detroit, Michigan. Blood Incantation, a death metal band from Denver, Colorado, who used Pennington images for their EP Interdimensional Extinction and used more from their second LP that came out in 2019. UFO symbology is very present in many of Bruce Pennington's works, and this is not only because he is a science fiction illustrator, but also because this artist has a huge interest in the UFO phenomenon. For him, it is the modern enigma that is above any other similar phenomenon.
My own interest in the subject began in the very same year that I started my career as a science fiction illustrator. Following year, I discovered the magazine Flying Saucer Review, which gave a thorough survey of the most interesting cases from the previous year's flap. This, along with a serialized report in several issues of Penthouse, got me hooked on the subject, which became an abiding interest for me from then on.
Bruce Pennington is currently retired and does not accept commissions, but continues to paint and draw, and he is open to his new work being used in various ways, as in the case of music album covers, books, magazine, calendars, or similar products. What sets Bruce Pennington apart is his unapologetic exploration of the imagination where futuristic metropolises and celestial wonders coexist. His paintings are portals to uncharted dimensions, inviting us to explore the boundaries of our imagination and challenge our perception of reality. With each stroke of his brush, he unveils worlds beyond the limits of the mundane, infusing them with amazing beauty and evocative storytelling. His art and the art of authors like him allow us to venture into the unknown, to create something that captures the essence of what lies beyond our everyday lives. It's about expanding our horizons and tapping into the limitless possibilities that exist within us. Today we embark on a captivating journey into the art of Gustave Doré, an extraordinary artist whose talent and imagination left an indelible mark on the world of illustration. Gustave Doré is a name that echoes through the corridors of art history, conjures images of intricate engravings and breathtaking illustrations. Doré's work, characterized by its meticulous detail and emotional depth, transported viewers into the realms of literature, inviting them to experience the stories alongside the characters. His engravings seemed to breathe life into the pages, adding a visual narrative that resonates deeply with readers. Gustave Doré was a French artist, illustrator, and engraver who was born on January 6, 1832, in Strasbourg, France. By age 5, he was a prodigy artist, creating drawings that were mature beyond his years. 7 years later, he began carving in stone. At the age of 15, Doré began his career working as a caricaturist for the French paper Le Journal Courrier. He obtained a contract with Charles Philippe, who was a French lithographer, caricaturist, and journalist, to publish one lithograph a week. He was then commissioned to do works on François Rabelais, Honoré de Balzac, and Dante Alighieri. This one was one of Doré's most celebrated achievements, the magnificent interpretation of the Divine Comedy in a feat of artistic mastery. Doré delved into the depth of hell, ascended the mount of purgatory, and soared through the celestial spheres of paradise. Doré's illustrations for the Divine Comedy were highly prized during his time and continue to be revered today. His ability to translate Dante's words into captivating visual narrative showcased his unparalleled talent as an illustrator. Doré's engravings for the Divine Comedy have become iconic representation of the poem, with their enduring popularity and influence evident in various adaptations and interpretations of Dante's work. The impact of Doré's illustration of the Divine Comedy extends far beyond the initial publication of the book. They have shaped the popular imagination of Dante's masterpiece, allowing readers and art enthusiasts to visualize the intricacies of the narrative and gain a deeper appreciation for the profound themes explored within the poem. By 1853, Doré illustrated the works of Lord Byron, who has been regarded as among the greatest of English poets. This opened the door for Gustave Doré to illustrate several English-speaking authors, among them Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. But his other Greek work would not be of English origin, but of Spanish origin. In 1860, he illustrated one of the most transcendent works of literature, Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote. In Doré's illustration, we witness the transformation of the delusional yet noble Don Quixote and his faithful squire, Sancho Panza, as they embark on their misadventures. Doré's attention to details and ability to capture the essence of the characters allowed reader to visualize the comedic situation and the fantastical world of Don Quixote's imagination. One of the notable aspects of Doré's illustration is his depiction of the chivalric world envisioned by Don Quixote. He portrayed the gallant knight charging at windmills, mistaking them for fearsome giants, or engaging in battle with imaginary foes. Through his evocative imagery, Doré emphasized the stark contrast between Quixote's romanticized perception of reality and the mundane world that surrounded him. Beyond the main characters, Doré's illustrations also showcased the vibrant landscapes and settings of Don Quixote. He depicted the Spanish countryside, dilapidated inns, and bustling town squares, capturing the essence of the novel's setting. Doré's attention to architectural detail and the nuances of everyday life added depth and richness to his illustrations, enhancing the reader's immersion in the story. Another major milestone in the artistic history of Gustave Doré is the illustration of the Book of Books, the Bible. Doré's work for this sacred book covered a wide range of stories from both the Old and New Testaments. His ability to convey the emotional depth of the narrative made his artwork resonate with viewers of all backgrounds. One of the notable aspects of Doré's biblical illustrations is his grandiose and majestic approach. He often depicted biblical scenes on an epic scale, with sweeping landscapes and a multitude of figures. These elements help to create a sense of wonder and reverence, emphasizing the divine nature of the stories being depicted. Doré's mastery of light and shadow played a significant role in this work. He skillfully employed chiaroscuro techniques to evoke a sense of drama and depth, adding more intensity to the scenes. The success of this version of the Bible served as his calling card for many more works in major publishing houses, as well as gallery exhibitions. Although Gustave Doré is mainly known for his illustrations for literary works, his pictorial production was also very important at the time. Doré's paintings exhibit a mix of realism and romanticism. He often incorporates elements of the fantastical and supernatural with realistic portrayals of human figures and landscapes. The paintings show influences of the Spanish Baroque. About 150 of his paintings are catalogued, of which many are large format. Gustave Doré's life and work are a testament to his immense talent and enduring impact on the world of art and illustration. Throughout his meticulous attention to detail, dramatic composition, and vivid imagination, Doré brought to life the realm of literature and religious texts. Throughout his prolific career, Doré's dedication to his craft and his unwavering passion for artistic expression were evident. His works continue to captivate audiences, evoking wonder and introspection. In conclusion, Gustave Doré's artistry, characterized by intricate detail, dramatic composition, imaginative flair, and emotional depth, has left an indelible mark on the art world. His illustrations have become iconic representations of literary classics, connecting viewers with the stories and themes they depict. Doré's legacy as one of the greatest illustrators of the 19th century endures, inspiring artists and art enthusiasts alike to explore the realms of imagination and the power of visual storytelling. In the world of movie posters, there is one artist whose work stands above the rest. His images have captivated audiences, evoking a sense of wonder, adventure, and nostalgia. Today we delve into the extraordinary life and artistry of Drew Struzan, the mastermind behind some of the most iconic movie posters of our time. Struzan's career soared as he breathed life into the world of beloved films. Collaborating with renowned filmmakers such as Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, his unparalleled ability to capture the essence of a film and its characters became his trademark, leaving an indelible mark on pop culture. Join this journey through the extraordinary career of Drew Struzan, the artist who brought our favorite films to life before they even hit the silver screen. Drew Struzan was born on March 18, 1947, and raised in the picturesque town of Oregon City. It was here that his journey as an artist began, laying the foundation for a remarkable career. He displayed a natural affinity for art. He became interested in classical art, and although he wanted to devote himself to painting, he spent countless hours sketching, doodling, and immersing himself in his art. He trained as an illustrator at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California. During his formative years, Drew's artistic talents blossomed, fueled by his vivid imagination. As Drew's passion grew, he sought inspiration from the works of renowned illustrators and graphic artists of the time. Their ability to convey narrative through visual ignited his imagination and fueled his desire to pursue a career in illustration. He began to sell his work during his student days and completed a postgraduate degree. Shortly after, he would meet his wife, with whom he would have a son. After this, Drew found himself in need of more income. This is how he began to work at the Pacific Eye and Ear Company, where he stood out for making the album cover Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper. But it would not be in the music industry where he would show the best of his talent. His consecration as a world-renowned illustrator would come hand in hand with the world of cinema. Through a friend, Struzan began working illustrating posters for B-movies at the Pencil-Bosher Company, where he learned the airbrush technique perfectly, a tool that would characterize his style throughout his artistic and professional career. In 1977, 20th Century Fox Studio hired artist Charles White, known for his talents with the airbrush, to design the poster for the following year's reissue of Star Wars. Disliking the result, White enlisted Struzan's help in portraying the actors while he focused on the droids, Darth Vader, and the hovercraft. This work is known as the circus poster due to the arrangement of some characters that meant that the credits did not fit on the poster. Struzan and White had to come up with something to get more space, and they simulated the effect of the poster being taped on top of other movie posters. That gave room for those credits and to put Obi-Wan Kenobi on the left. The poster would become George Lucas' favorite for years to come. After the success of the poster, Struzan's services were highly requested, leading to the creation of the most recognized works, the most remembered movie posters of the 80s, among which stand out Indiana Jones trilogy, The Thing, First Blood, The Goonies, the Back to the Future trilogy, Master of the Universe, among others. Drew Struzan's artistic style is characterized by its distinctiveness, capturing the essence of films and their characters in a way that resonates with audiences. His approach combines elements of realism, fantasy, and storytelling, creating visually striking and evocative imagery. Struzan employs a rich and vibrant color palette in his artwork, whether it's the warm hues of an adventure film or the cool tone of a sci-fi epic. His use of color adds depth and emotion to his illustration. His attention to detail is exceptional. He meticulously captures the features and expressions of characters, paying close attention to their unique characteristics. Struzan's compositions are carefully crafted to create a sense of movement and energy. He employs dynamic angles and perspective, drawing the viewer's eye and conveying the excitement and drama of the films he illustrates. Each illustration captures a pivotal moment of theme from the film, encapsulating its essence in a single image. His ability to distill the essence of a film into a visual representation is a testament to his storytelling prowess. His brushwork is skillful and expressive, allowing him to create a sense of realism while maintaining a touch of fantasy. His illustrations evoke emotion and nostalgia. They tap into the viewer's memories and association with the films, evoking a sense of wonder, excitement, or even a hint of melancholy. This emotional connection is a hallmark of his style and contributes to the lasting impact of his artwork. By the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s, both the advertising poster and the movie poster were changing thanks to the implementation of digital technology, photographic software, allows the use of photographic compositions instead of illustrations, and that was the trend that prevails to this day in poster design for movies. Although Struzan saw a considerable reduction in projects, he continued to work in the movie poster industry, creating illustrations for Steven Spielberg's Hook, Rennie Harlin's Cutthroat Island, The Flintstones, and during the late 90s and beginning of the decade of the 2000s, made the movie poster for the Star Wars prequel trilogy. Later, he would make a poster for Harry Potter and Hellboy. By 2008, he was commissioned to prepare the art for the poster of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That would be his last job in the film industry for a long time, since that same year he announced his retirement for the film poster business. Although he had some specific returns, such as for the documentary Bad Kid Begins and for Star Wars The Force Awakens, this poster was discarded for one made with digital technology based on photo montages. In addition to the film industry, Drew Struzan also worked in the publishing industry, illustrating several book covers, many of them related to the Star Wars saga and Indiana Jones. He also did some work in advertising and even dabbled in graphic design. He designed the first logo for the special effects company Industrial Light and Magic. His brushstrokes have adorned the walls of theaters, captivating generations of moviegoers with their vibrant colors, intricate details, and timeless storytelling. Drew Struzan artistry goes beyond mere illustration. It is a visual language that speaks to our emotions, memories, and dreams. His iconic movie posters have become windows into the worlds of imagination, inviting us to embark on a cinematic journey. His art has become inseparable from the films themselves, capturing the spirit and essence of beloved stories in a single image. Drew Struzan, the artist whose illustrations have forever etched themselves into the annals of popular culture, made his brushstrokes continue to ignite our imagination and transport us to worlds of wonder and adventure. Today we embark on a journey to uncover the extraordinary world of a visionary artist and author, a true master of the fantastical and otherworldly. Meet Wayne Barlowe, a luminary whose brushstrokes have given life to mystical creatures, extraterrestrial beings, and breathtaking landscapes. His boundless imagination and artistic brilliance have earned him a place among the legends of science fiction and fantasy. So prepare to be spellbound as we traverse the extraordinary landscapes of Wayne Barlowe's mind, a realm where the impossible becomes reality and where the art of storytelling intertwines seamlessly with the art of visual creation. Wayne Barlowe, born in Glen Cove, New York, the son of a noted natural history artist, Cy and Dorothea Barlowe. He studied at the Art Students League and the Cooper Union in New York. During his undergraduate studies, he worked as an apprentice in the exhibitions department of the American Museum of Natural History. During this period, Barlowe collaborated with his parents on his first professional book assignment, Instant Nature Guide of Insects. He started by painting hundreds of paperback covers for major publishers, bringing to life the vivid imagery of otherworldly tales. His talent soon caught the attention of prestigious magazines like Life, Time, and Newsweek, leading to inspiring illustrations that graced their pages. In 1979, his first self-created book, Barlowe's Guide to Extraterrestrials, was published by Workman Publishing. The guide, conceived, illustrated, and co-writing by Barlowe, was nominated for an American Book Award and the science fiction community's prestigious Hugo. It was voted Best Picture Book of 1979 by the Locus Poll and Best Juvenile Book by the American Library Association. The guide, considered by many to be a contemporary science fiction classic, sold nearly 400,000 copies worldwide in several languages. Over a span of 8 years, Barlowe's artistic journey unfolded, bringing forth more than 300 captivating book and magazine covers and illustrations. His creation graced the pages of every major publisher. Venturing beyond the printed realm, Barlowe's artistry ventured into the world of television. Audiences witnessed his mesmerizing artwork on Walter Cronkite's Universe and Connie Chung's Saturday Night. Furthermore, the Discovery Channel unveiled the wondrous vistas of his imagination, captivating audiences with his visual storytelling. As his artistic influence expanded, the spotlight shone brighter on this master of creativity. The Sci-Fi Channel's Inside the Space program hosted an exclusive interview with Barlowe, allowing enthusiasts to glimpse the brilliance behind the brushstrokes. Published in 1990 by Workman Publishers, Barlowe's second book, Expedition, took readers on a natural history journey to another world. Within its pages, 40 magnificent printings and 100 black and white illustrations. Such was the impact of Expedition that it garnered rave reviews and earned a nomination for the esteemed 1991 Chelsea Award from the Science Fiction Artists Association. Notably, the New York Public Library recognized its brilliance, deeming it the best book for teens in the year 1991. A masterpiece that transcended boundaries, Expedition became a testament to Barlowe's unparalleled storytelling and artistic prowess, leaving an enduring mark on the world of science fiction and fantasy literature. March of 1995 marked the momentous release of Barlowe's debut book of dinosaurs illustrations, co-authored by the paleontologist Dr. Peter Dodson, published under the title An Alphabet of Dinosaurs by Scholastic Books. This work received resounding critical acclaim. So impressive was its impact that it earned the prestigious designation of a Pick of the List title for spring 1995 by the American booksellers. The result, over 170,000 copies found their way into the hands of eager readers. Wayne Barlowe's creativity knows no boundaries, extending beyond the pages of books and into the realm of cinema. His artistic designs have graced numerous blockbuster films, leaving an indelible mark on the silver screen. In the fall of 1998, the 2-hour TNT movie Babylon 5, Tiered Space, showcased Barlowe's brilliant artistry as he took on the design of the artifact, the principal aliens, and their captivating home world. Not content with confining his talent to a single project, Barlowe's artistic influence expanded even further. His exceptional skills in crafting alien creatures and characters become evident in the animated 20th Century Fox released Titan AE and designed creatures seen in Galaxy Quest for Stan Winston Studios. During the year 2000, Barlowe engaged in the creation of pre-production drawings for Blade 2. This would be the beginning of an extensive collaboration with Mexican director Guillermo del Toro. In 2002, Barlowe's creativity extended to two fantastical worlds. First, his exceptional talent in creature and character design breathed life into the mystical realm of Hellboy, enriching the film with captivating beings that bewitched audiences worldwide. Soon after, the magical universe of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Barlowe also worked as a chief creature designer on Pacific Rim, among other major films. As his career evolved, Wayne Barlowe continued to push the boundaries of his artistry. His first novel, God's Demon, unleashed a captivating tale showcasing his ability to weave fantastical narrative that mirrored the depths of his imagination. In 2021, Wayne Barlowe unveiled a breathtaking retrospective art book titled Psychopomp, inviting readers on a mesmerizing journey through his creative evolution. With each stroke of his brush and each penned word, he guides us through his captivating words, leaving an indelible impression on all who embark on this artistic odyssey. From his early days crafting paperback covers to his breathtaking films designs, Barlowe's artistic journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. He breathed life into alien worlds, painted the creatures of myth, and delved into the depths of infernal landscapes, each stroke of his brush a testament to his unparalleled talent. Wayne Barlowe's extraordinary journey reminds us that the human imagination knows no limits. His artistry continues to ignite our sense of wonder, drawing us into worlds beyond our wildest dreams. He is a true visionary whose contribution to science fiction, fantasy, and art have left an everlasting mark, transporting us to worlds where the unimaginable becomes reality. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the fascinating story behind the dynamic duo that sparked a global phenomenon. They are the brilliant minds who brought to life the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, captivating generations with their artistic prowess and creativity. We delve into the life and work of two legendary creators, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. Together, they forever changed the landscape of pop culture with their remarkable partnership and the birth of the iconic heroes in a half-shell. Peter Alan Laird was born in North Adams, Massachusetts on January 27, 1954. From a very young age, his fondness for drawing became apparent alongside his fascination with dinosaurs and robots. His interest in this subject only intensified upon discovering the captivating comics crafted by Jack Kirby and Barry Windsor Smith. Following his fine arts studies at the University of Massachusetts, he ventured into the world of comic book artistry and illustration, contributing to fanzines and local newspapers. However, it wasn't until a fortuitous encounter with fellow artist Kevin Eastman in 1983 that professional success would finally find its way to him. Kevin Brooks Eastman was born on May 30, 1962 in Portland, Maine. He grew up as a comic book fan and, like his future partner, liked Jack Kirby's work, and Kamandi was his favorite title. In 1983, Kevin Eastman found himself working at a restaurant while tirelessly seeking publishers for his comics. During this time, he encountered a waitress who happened to be a student at the University of Massachusetts. Intrigued by the possibilities that lay ahead, he decided to follow her to Northampton as he continued his quest to find a suitable local underground newspaper for publishing his work. Fate intervened, leading him to cross paths with Peter Laird, who was employed in nearby Dover, New Hampshire, formed a professional bond with Kevin, and the two embarked on a collaboration, working together on several comic book projects. One of those comics would be the work that would lead them to immortality in pop culture. In May 1984, these two artists self-published the first edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a 40-page comic book with an initial print run of 3,000 copies. It was financed mainly by a loan from Kevin Eastman's uncle. It was published by Mirage Studios, which was nothing more than a publishing house owned by the duo. They chose that name because there was no real studio, just kitchen tables and sofas with lap boards. Trained by their sensei, Master Splinter, the group of reptiles are a quartet of teenage anthropomorphic mutant turtles on a mission to become adept ninja warriors. Within the sewers of Manhattan, their dwelling, they take on a myriad of adversaries, from petty criminals and evil megalomaniacs to alien invaders, yet they choose to remain aloof from human society at large, navigating a unique path of heroism. Overnight, the Turtles exploded into an independent comics sensation, a parody and homage to Frank Miller's iconic works. The comic's first issue cover bore a striking resemblance to Miller's Running, while the Turtles' origin story hinted at a connection to Daredevil's own beginnings. Drawing inspiration from Miller's creation, the Hand-Foot Clan emerged as the Turtles' adversaries, a group of deadly ninjas assassins. Anticipation for the comic escalated even before its publication, thanks to a mention in a comic book guide that captured the attention of enthusiastic fans. The initial print run of 3,000 copies sold out instantaneously, driving its commercial value through the roof. Originally conceived as one-issue parody, the unprecedented sales success led to a series of follow-ups, solidifying its place as an enduring comic phenomenon.
Starting with the Turtles was a fluke. It wasn't something we envisioned directing our lives towards in any way, shape, or form. It was kind of like, hey, this looks like fun. Let's publish it. Let's see what happens. Suddenly, and completely out of the blue, this Turtles phenomenon emerged. And really, from day one, it just spread over everything. It was a rapidly accelerating process that culminated in essentially taking over our lives, completely.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as we are well aware, did not confine themselves to being merely a colossal independent comic book success. Instead, they transformed into a worldwide multimedia sensation, owing in part to the involvement of Mark Friedman, a licensing agent. Friedman approached Eastman and Laird with a proposal to explore broader marketing avenues for this unconventional intellectual property. In January 1987, they made their way to Playmate Toys offices, a company eager to venture into the action figures business. This would lead to a hugely successful toy line, accompanied by an equally successful animated television series, turning the Ninja Turtles into a multi-million-dollar franchise whose products would be marketed for decades to come. This led to greater pressures on the two creators.
Suddenly discovering to my horror that I no longer enjoyed drawing. It was a real shock, because if I ever had anything I could rely on, it was that I loved to draw.
Becoming a pop culture phenomenon, Laird and Eastman's creation compelled them to take periodic sabbaticals from actively engaging in comic production. These breaks were necessary to address the daily demand that came with managing their now sprawling multimedia franchise. In the creative realm, like many partnerships, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird did not always see eye to eye, leading their collaboration to face challenges. During much of the 90s, the two found themselves largely detached from each other. Kevin Eastman relocated to California, while Peter Laird remained in Massachusetts. Eastman ultimately sold its share of the franchise to Laird, retaining a minor continuing revenue interest. Later, on March 1, 2008, Laird and Mirage acquired Eastman's remaining rights and interests, leading both creators to embark on completely separate career paths. Laird sold entirely of this franchise to Viacom Nickelodeon, but still retains the right to make up to 18 black and white comics per year about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In addition to his extensive involvement with the Ninja Turtles, Eastman, in 1990, founded Tundra Publishing to pursue personal projects. He co-established the Creators' Bills of Rights. Eastman's motivation extended beyond mere theory and practice, as he sought to create a platform that enabled comic creators to work for a publisher while retaining ownership of their creations. Tundra received multiple nominations for various awards during its first and second years, including Harvey Awards and Eisner Award, but despite this, the company was not making money on its titles and had to cease production. A devoted enthusiast of science fiction and fantasy magazines, most of which originated from French sources, Kevin Eastman discovered Heavy Metal magazine. What struck him was Richard Corben's proclamation of its being the second greatest influence on his artistry. In the early 90s, heavy metal became available for purchase, and Eastman was determined to acquire it. Finally, in January 1992, he fulfilled his ambition and bought the magazine. Eastman sold the magazine in January 2014. He continued to serve as publisher of the magazine until 2020, and he is a minority investor in the new heavy metal. Among his ventures as an artist, Eastman explored diverse projects, including Fistful of Blood, a black and white graphic novel blending spaghetti western and horror themes. The novel, published by Heavy Metal, featured artwork by Simon Bisley. Additionally, Eastman engaged in collaborations with Marvel Comics. As for Peter Laird, he established the Zurich Foundation, a non-profit organization with a mission to give back to the comics world. Through grants, Laird aimed to support self-publishers and provide them with opportunities for growth, while Eastman, on the other hand, materialized the ideals of the Creators' Bills of Rights from the perspective of publishers by creating Tundra Publishing. Laird's vision, in contrast, centered on funding rather than actively publishing individual works. Amid his commitments, Laird managed to dedicate time to various other comics, including the publication of Stupid Hero and collaborating with Jim Lawson on the Planet Racers trilogy of graphic novels. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman are the testament to the transformative power of creativity and collaboration. Together, they birthed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, an idea that started as a quirky comic book parody but evolved into a global multimedia phenomenon. Their unique concept and engaging character resonate with audiences of all ages, making the Turtles household names and enduring pop culture icons. As with any creative partnership, Laird and Eastman faced challenges and disagreements, leading them to pursue separate career paths at times. However, their passion for storytelling and dedication to their craft remained unwavering. Beyond the Turtles, both creators embarked on various projects that showcased their artistic talent and further contributed to the comic book industry. Throughout their journeys, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman have inspired countless artists, writers, and fans, proving that with imagination and determination, even the most unconventional ideas can become a success. Their legacy will continue to inspire generations of creators to come, as their work remains a shining example of the power of creativity and the enduring impact of beloved characters on the hearts of millions worldwide. Today, we are embarking on an exciting journey into the vibrant and mind-bending universe of one of the most electrifying comic book artists of all time, Simon Bisley. His brush strokes have conjured up worlds of mayhem, mystery, and marvels, from the sweeping landscapes of fantasy realms to the gritty streets of dystopian futures. Simon Bisley's artistic journey has left an indelible mark on both the comic book industry and the realm of fantasy art. Before continuing with this video, I want to give a special thanks to the subscriber Vangelis for being the first member of the channel. Thank you very much, Vangelis. Well, we have much more to say. Let's continue with the video of the great Simon Bisley. Simon Bisley was born on March 4, 1962 in England. His passion for art began at an early age. At the tender age of 6, his artistic journey ignited. He embarked on a self-taught path, spending a mere year in an art college where he recalled,
"I found it very difficult to get any kind of feedback from the art teachers. They weren't interested at all in what I was doing, so I became kind of very introverted with regard to my artwork, and yeah, I was just all self-taught."
As time went on, Simon Bisley continued to evolve as an artist, experimenting with new techniques, mediums, and influence. He attributes inspiration to the likes of Frank Frazetta, Gustave Klimt, Salvador Dalí, William Turner, and of course, Richard Corbin. His unique artistic signature materializes through acrylic application on Bristol board. Contrary to prevailing assumptions, Simon's toolkit rarely includes airbrushes. However, his ingenuity shines through as he occasionally employs car spray paint and medley of commonplace household articles. Bisley began his career by creating designs for magazines and album covers. His very first project was making a design for a t-shirt used in the heavy metal magazine Kerrang! After a while, even though he didn't have experience in drawing comic strips before, the magazine 2000 AD gave him a job. When he was still a student, Bisley painted a picture of a robot holding a baby and sent it to the 2000 AD offices. Pat Mills, who worked there, saw the picture and got an idea. He decided to bring back the ABC Warriors comic strip and asked Bisley to draw it. This happened in 1987. He began by working on ABC Warriors, and later he also drew for Slane. And the iconic Judge Dredd. Bisley's breakthrough came in the early 90s when he gained widespread recognition for his work on DC Comics' Lobo series. His portrayal of the characters' violent and humorous antics brought a new dimension to the anti-hero genre. His signature style, characterized by intricate line work, exaggerated anatomy, and gritty painting look, set him apart from his contemporaries. Beyond Lobo, Bisley's artistic prowess graced the pages of other iconic comic book titles. He collaborated with renowned writers like Alan Grant and Warren Ellis on franchises such as Batman, Hellblazer, or Dead Dealer. Each collaboration showcased his ability to infuse characters with raw energy and emotion. Simon Bisley has established himself as a consistent and prominent contributor to the renowned comics magazine Heavy Metal. This long-standing collaboration has allowed Bisley to showcase his unique artistic style within the pages of the magazine, adding his distinct flavor to the electric mix of content that Heavy Metal is known for. Bisley's contributions to heavy metal have not only allowed him to maintain his presence in the comic book and fantasy art world, but also introduced his work to new generations of fans who discover his artistry within the pages of this iconic publication. Simon Bisley also accepted commissions outside of the publishing world. For example, he has also done illustrations for game boxes. But beyond this type of work, the major production of drawings and illustrations was for comics, and innumerable numbers of comics that he developed in the following decades. Simon Bisley's artistic style is both iconic and recognizable, setting him apart as a prolific figure in the world of comic books, fantasy art, and heavy metal culture. Bisley's work is known for its incredible level of detail, whether it's the texture of skin, the intricacies of machinery, or the nuances of clothing. His illustrations are filled with meticulous detailing that draws the viewer's eye and invites them to explore every corner of the image. He often exaggerates the anatomy of his character, giving them larger-than-life proportions, especially when it comes to muscles and body structure. This contributes to the sense of dynamism and energy in his artwork. His character's facial expression and emotions are vividly portrayed, whether it's grim determination, wild laughter, or seething rage. Bisley's ability to capture a wide range of emotions adds depth and realism to his character. Many of his works are characterized by gritty, dark, and atmospheric quality. This atmosphere often adds to the overall tone of the stories he is illustrating, creating a sense of tension, drama, or otherworldly ambience. His compositions are often dynamic and full of movement. Characters are rarely static, they are posed in ways that suggest action, and there's a sense of kinetic energy that radiates from the pages. All this can be seen in many books where his work is the protagonist. His chaotic and dynamic style resonates with fans, inspiring a new wave of artists who embraced a more gritty and unconventional approach. His influence can be seen in various mediums, from album covers to movie concept art. His dynamic style, intricate details, and unapologetic imagination have shaped the visual landscape of comic books, fantasy art, and beyond. From Lobo to Heavy Metal magazine, Bisley's contributions have transcended medium, connecting with audiences on a visceral level. But we have to remember that his legacy continues to evolve. His influence can be seen in the work of artists he is inspired, and his impact ripples through the worlds he is touched. Whether it's on a page of a comic book, the covers of a heavy metal albums, or the canvases of imagination. In the colorful and captivating realm of comic books, there are creators whose talent transcends the pages and captures the hearts of fans around the world. Today we embark on a journey through the creative universe of the extraordinary American comic book artist, Lee Bermejo. From humble beginning to comic book royalty, Lee Bermejo's story is as inspiring as the characters he brings to life. Join us as we uncover the life, art, and impact of Lee Bermejo, one frame at a time. Lee Bermejo does not come from a family of artists. His father is a doctor and his mother helps rehabilitate patients with head injuries. He has never been clear about where his artistic interests come from, but as a child, he was always drawing, even redrawing the comics he liked the most. He was fascinated with everything related to Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Batman. At the age of 12, he would discover two titles that would have a great visual impact on him. His grandmother gave him Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, and in turn he discovered Black Hawk, written and illustrated by Howard Chaykin. It was with these two comics that he became aware that behind them there were people who wrote and drew these stories, and that in fact it was a job he wanted to dedicate himself to. Lee did not go to art school or receive any artistic training in his childhood and adolescence. His drawing skills came from observation and constant consumption of comics. At the age of 15, he began to mail his drawing to Wildstorm, an independent publishing label that was part of Image Comics, founded by comic book artist Jim Lee. Bermejo was obsessed with working at Wildstorm, but never got feedback from the company. It was in later years, when with great perseverance, attending year after year the San Diego Comic-Con with his portfolio under his arm, that he got an opportunity to work at Wildstorm as an intern. Bermejo considers Wildstorm as his art school, as it gave him the opportunity to work with very experienced artists that he also admired. Plus, it was a place where creativity flowed everywhere and everyone learned from everyone. Curiously enough, his first work from Wildstorm was not a comic book, but some designs for basketball toys. The first comic he worked on was the Resident Evil series. Bermejo disowns this work a bit. He considers it awful.
Frankly, I don't think I was ready to draw professionally. I was fortunate to be hired at the right time, in the summer of 1997, when comic sales were in a state of free fall. Many artists had turned to video games or other sectors, which had created a void in the industry where rookies like me could actually break in. I started as an intern with two other young artists assigned to license products, which had nothing at all to do with comics. It was only when Wildstorm got the rights to Resident Evil that the opportunity to do sequential work arose. That was the real beginning of my career.
From Resident Evil onwards, Lee Bermejo would work on several titles of Wildstorm, such as Wildcats, Robotech, Global Frequency, and Gen 13. He would later leave Wildstorm behind and begin his adventure in the biggest American publishers, like in DC Comics, where Bermejo, along with writer Joe Kelly and co-artist Doug Mahnke, worked together to create the story called What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way in Action Comics in 2001. Although throughout his career, Lee Bermejo has done great work at Marvel and other big publishing houses, it was in DC where he would do some of his most outstanding works, in which we can find Lex Luthor, Man of Steel. In this standalone graphic novel, written by Brian Azzarello, Bermejo explores the complex character of Lex Luthor and his rivalry with Superman. The artwork is striking and the story delves into Luthor's psyche. Joker. This graphic novel, written again by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Bermejo, offers a dark and gritty portrayal of the Joker. Bermejo's detailed artwork brings the iconic villain to life in a chilling and memorable way. Batman, Noel, written and drawn in its entirety by Bermejo, this work is a unique reimagining of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. This graphic novel presents Batman as a modern-day Scrooge. Bermejo's stunning art and storytelling provide a fresh perspective on the Caped Crusader. Before Watchmen, Rorschach. As part of DC Comics' Before Watchmen series, written by Brian Azzarello, Lee Bermejo worked on the character Rorschach, offering new insights into the iconic Watchmen character. Suiciders. Bermejo created this dystopian comic series set in post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. Like in Batman Noel, this work is illustrated and written by him, showcasing his versatility as a storyteller. Batman Damned, and again the dynamic duo Azzarello and Bermejo provided a story that explores a darker and more supernatural side of Batman's world. Another of the most outstanding aspects of Lee Bermejo's work is his talent as a cover artist. His cover artwork is characterized by his striking and often darkly detailed style, which instantly captures the essence of the stories they represent. He has worked on covers for a wide range of comic book titles. His versatility as an artist allows him to adapt his style to suit the tone and themes of different series. Lee Bermejo is celebrated for his distinct and visually captivating art style, which sets him apart in the world of comic book illustration. Bermejo's art is known for its high degree of realism and meticulous attention to detail. His illustrations are often rich in texture, with carefully rendered backgrounds and intricate line work. This attention to detail brings a sense of depth and authenticity to his artwork. He has a knack for designing characters that are both visually striking and thematically appropriate. Whether it's a hero or a villain, Bermejo's character designs are memorable and often redefine the look of iconic figures. Bermejo frequently employs textures in his work, which can be seen in the fabric of costumes, the weathered surfaces of buildings, and even the texture of skin. These textures add depth and dimension to his illustrations. Bermejo often incorporates real-world elements and references into his work. This includes detailed depiction of urban environments, clothing, and other everyday objects, grounding his stories in a recognizable reality. While Bermejo is known for his black and white art, he also uses color selectively, often with a muted and earthy palette. This allows specific elements to pop and add to the overall mood of his artwork. His dedication to realism, meticulous attention to detail, and the ability to capture complex emotions had made him one of the most outstanding artists in the field of contemporary comics. From the darkest corners of Gotham City to the complexities of the human psyche, Bermejo's artistic genius has graced in the best way possible the pages of some of the most iconic comic book series. Today we are diving into the amazing world of manga and anime, with a special focus on one of the most legendary creators in the industry. Get ready to meet the talented and iconic Rumiko Takahashi. She's the creative genius behind some of the favorite characters and stories of many people around the globe. From laugh out loud comedies and thrilling adventures, Rumiko Takahashi's manga and anime have something for everyone. So let's jump into her incredible journey and discover what makes her a true legend from Japan to the world. Rumiko Takahashi was born on October 10, 1957, in Niigata, Japan. When she was a child, she liked manga a bit. She sometimes doodled on the edge of her books when she went to Niigata Shuo High School, but her real love for manga started later. In college, he went to a manga school called Gekiga Sonhoku, started by Kazuo Koike, who made manga like Crying Freeman and The Lone Wolf and His Cub. Rumiko Takahashi, under Koike's guidance, started making her own self-published manga. Her first one were Bye Bye Road and Useless Dust Star. Koike told his students to come up with good ideas and fun characters. This really affected how Rumiko made her manga throughout her career. Rumiko Takahashi started her professional career in 1978. Her first manga was Urusei Yatsura, a funny space story. In that same year, she made Time Warp Trouble and The Golden Gods of Poverty for Shonen Sunday magazine. This magazine was where she put out many of her best comics for the next 20 years. Takahashi's art style is characterized by expressive character designs and a focus on character interactions and facial expressions. Her ability to convey a wide range of emotions through her characters' expressions is one of her hallmarks. Takahashi's art can transition seamlessly between comedy and drama, and she has a talent for blending humor with more serious and emotional moments. In 1980, she started her second big project, Maison Ikoku, in the Big Comic Spirits magazine. Maison Ikoku is a romantic comedy aimed at grown-up readers. Even today, nearly 40 years after it first came out, it's considered a masterpiece of romance manga for adults. This is because of its rich background and the natural growth of its characters. Takahashi's stories are known for their well-developed and relatable characters. Her protagonists face personal challenges, growth, and transformation as they navigate the often chaotic and unpredictable worlds she creates. In 1981, Urusei Yatsura was the first of Takahashi's works to be turned into a TV show by the animation studio Kiri Films. This series started airing on Japanese television on October 14. Kiri Films continued its partnership with Rumiko and adapted Maison Ikoku in 1986. The TV series had 96 episodes, 3 OVAs, a movie, and even a live-action movie. In 1987, Takahashi started her third big series, Ranma 1/2. It followed the popular style of martial arts manga that was trendy in the early 90s. This series continued for nearly 10 years and ended in 1996 with 38 volumes. Ranma 1/2 is one of the most loved manga outside of Japan. Ranma 1/2 tells the story of Genma and his son Ranma. While training in China, they made a mistake and ended up falling into some spooky ponds. These ponds have a strange curse. When someone falls into one of them, they turn into whatever drowned in the pond the very first time. Every time they touch cold water, the curse goes away when they touch hot water. Genma fell into the pond of drowned panda, and Ranma fell into the pond of the drowned redhead girl. As the story goes on in Japan, we get to know more characters. Some of them had the bad luck of falling into the pond and getting cursed. For instance, there's the Amazon shampoo who turns into a pink cat, Moose who turns into a duck, and Ryoga Hibiki who becomes a black pig. Ryoga is one of Ranma's rivals. In 1989, with the cooperation of Studio D, Kiri Animation produced Ranma 1/2. The anime version was split into 2 series. This happened because the first one didn't do as well as expected on Fuji TV, so the animation studio had to introduce Shampoo's character earlier than planned and wrap up the series with only 18 episodes. However, just a month later, the second series of the manga's anime adaptation, called Ranma 1/2 Netohen. This one continued gradually until 1992 with a total of 143 episodes and 161 episodes in total when combined with the first series. In the mid-90s, Rumiko Takahashi continued to create short stories alongside her works like Mermaid Saga and One Pound Gospel. During this time, she started her 4th most successful series, Inuyasha. Unlike her previous works like Ranma 1/2, Urusei Yatsura, and Maison Ikoku, which fell into the romantic comedy genre, Inuyasha is more similar to her darker series, Mermaid Saga. Inuyasha combines action, romance, horror, fantasy inspired by folklore and comedy. This series ran in Shonen Sunday magazine for 12 years, from 1996 to 2008, and was collected into 56 volumes. The story revolves around a high school girl named Kagome Higurashi, who leads a relatively normal life in modern-day Tokyo. However, her life takes a dramatic turn when she is transported back in time to Japan's feudal era after falling into a mysterious well on her family's shrine. In this dangerous era, she discovers that she is the reincarnation of a powerful priestess named Kikyo, who gathered the Shikon Jewel, a sacred artifact with immense power. Upon her arrival, Kagome encounters the half-demon Inuyasha, who was sealed to a tree by Kikyo 50 years ago for his misdeeds. Kagome frees Inuyasha, but the Shikon Jewel is shattered into numerous shards which scatter across the land. Together, Kagome and Inuyasha embark on a quest to collect all the Shikon Jewel shards before they fall into the wrong hands. Takahashi's stories are set in various time periods and locations, from modern-day Japan to historical feudal eras and even otherworldly realms. This diversity allows her to explore different cultures, myths, and traditions. Many of Takahashi's manga series are lengthy, allowing her to delve deep into character development and story arcs. Her ability to sustain interest over extended periods is a testament to her storytelling skills. Just like her other successful works, Inuyasha was turned into an anime. It started in 2000 and ended in 2004. The anime had a total of 167 episodes, and they even made 4 movies. In July 2018, Takahashi was honored by being inducted into the Will Eisner Hall of Fame. This recognition was for her valuable contribution to the comics industry and her significant cultural impact. Rumiko Takahashi is still active as a mangaka at the age of 65, working on one of her most recent works, Mao, which began serialization in Shogakukan's weekly Shonen Sunday in May 2019. Rumiko Takahashi is a manga artist whose life and work have left an enduring impact on the world of manga and anime. With a career spanning several decades, she has proven herself as a versatile and influential creator. Her stories, characterized by their humor, romance, supernatural elements, and rich character development, have garnered a devoted global following. Her ability to blend various genres, explore complex relationships, and tackle both comedic and dramatic themes has made her a beloved figure in the comics industry. Her enduring legacy continues to inspire and entertain fans worldwide, making her a true luminary in the world of manga and anime. Today we delve into the dark and mesmerizing world of American illustrator Stephen Gammell. Join me and explore the hauntingly beautiful creation of this artist, known for his eerie and captivating illustrations in children's literature. From his spine-tingling work on the Scary Stories to Telling the Dark series, from his otherworldly and evocative art, I will take you on a journey through the enigmatic mind of Stephen Gammell. Prepare to be spellbound as we uncover the secrets behind his haunting masterpieces and celebrate his legacy. Stephen Gammell was born in February 10, 1943. He grew up in Iowa. His dad worked as an art editor for a big magazine. He brought home magazines that inspired Stephen's art when he was young. His parents also gave him lots of pencil, paper, and cheered him on while he was learning on his own. Stephen has always had a very reserved personality, so not much is known about his biography, but it is known that he began to work independently in the advertising field. Then he became interested in children's illustration. Sometime later, he entered the publishing world with his first children's book, illustrating A Naughty Business, in 1973. written by Ida Shidham. Naughty Business is about Farmer Flint, who collects nuts to sell to buy calico for his wife and daughter, and gets into a war with the squirrels. In that year, he drew pictures for kids' book about Leo Tolstoy called The Search, which was written by Sarah Newton Carroll. From that moment on, he would not stop illustrating numerous children's books such as Meet the Werewolf in 1976, Terrible Things, an allegory of the Holocaust in 1980. And in 1981, a book series would arrive and would mark a milestone in his career. Gammell's most famous and celebrated work is his collaboration with author Alvin Schwartz on the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark series. These books, which were published in the 1991s and 1990s, are a collection of spooky and macabre folk tales and urban legends. The title of the books are Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and The Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Shield Your Bones. His distinctive and eerie illustrations play a crucial role in creating the chilling and unforgettable atmosphere of the books. They complement the scary stories perfectly, enhancing the reader's experience by adding a visual dimension to the tales. Gammell's art is famous and closely connected to the series. His drawing have really helped the Scary Stories books stay popular and relevant for a long time. It's a well-loved and lasting part of children's literature because of his illustrations. The American Library Association says that this book series was often challenged during the 90s. It was also the 7th most challenged series in the 2000s. People who complained usually didn't like the violence, scary themes, or thought it might not be right for kids. Some also had religious concerns. Critics called the stories gross and said they weren't for children, especially because they had scary stuff like murder and people hurting each other. Critics didn't like Stephen Gammell's creepy artwork either. Some groups like Local Parents and Concerned Women for America wanted to take the book out of school libraries, but other groups like the American Library Association and the Children's Book Center Bulletin supported the book. Gammell's work contributed to the expansion of the horror genre in children's literature. His ability to evoke fear and unease through art encouraged other authors and illustrators to explore similar themes, paving the way for a broader range of horror-themed children's books. Gammell's illustrations are not merely decorative, they are integral to the storytelling process. His artwork enhances the narrative and adds depth to the characters and settings, showcasing the power of visual storytelling in these kinds of books. In 2013, CBS Films acquired the rights to the book series with the intention of producing it as a film to be released in 2019. Directed by Andre Overdahl, from a screenplay co-writing by Dan and Kevin Hickman, and a story by Guillermo del Toro. Gammell's art can be creepy and strange. He draws with messy lines, weird shapes, and dark colors to make it feel spooky and unsettling. This style works really well for illustrating scary and dark stories. Gammell's illustrations often have a surreal and otherworldly quality. He employs dreamlike and fantastical imagery that transports viewers into a world where reality blurs with the supernatural. This surrealism adds depth and mystery to his art. Despite the eerie and unsettling nature of his illustrations, Gammell pays meticulous attention to detail. His intricate and finely crafted drawings add depth and complexity to his artwork, drawing the viewer into the story's atmosphere. His characters and creatures are often depicted with intense emotions and expressions. He effectively conveys fear, anguish, and other strong emotions through his illustrations, which adds a visceral and emotional layer to the stories. One of the defining characteristics of Gammell's art is its ability to set the mood and atmosphere for the stories it accompanies. Whether it's a spooky tale or a melancholic scene, his artwork captures the essence of the narrative. Gammell's artwork often features organic and fluid forms, including twisted trees, flowing water, and contorted figures. These elements contribute to the surreal and nightmarish quality of his art. While Gammell doesn't use color in his artwork too much, he often employs a black and white palette. This minimalist approach adds to the stark and haunting quality of his illustrations. Many artists and illustrators have cited Stephen Gammell as an inspiration for their own work. His unique style and techniques have influenced subsequent generations of illustrators, particularly those interested in horror and fantasy genres. Although Stephen Gammell has illustrated more than 50 children's books and is now an octogenarian, he continues to work in his Minnesota studio daily with his wife and photographer Linda Gammell. His illustrations continue to be appreciated by new generations of readers. Reprints of the Scary Stories series maintain his original artwork, ensuring that his legacy endures and that his influence remains strong in the world of children's books. His nightmarish and evocative artwork has not only left a lasting legacy in children's literature, but has also pushed the boundaries of what can be achieved through the illustration in the world of dark storytelling. His ability to transport readers to otherworldly and eerie realms has solidified his place as a visionary artist in the illustration field. Today, we'll embark on a captivating journey through the mind of Roger Dean, exploring the ethereal realms he's brought to life and the incredible impact he's had on the world of art and music. Join me as we uncover the stories behind his most famous album covers, his unique design philosophy, and the lasting legacy he's left on the creative world. Roger Dean was born in Ashford, Kent, on August 31, 1944. However, his childhood was marked by frequent relocation in places like Greece, Cyprus, and Hong Kong, accompanying his father, an engineer of the British Army. As a child, Roger had a strong interest in natural history. While he was in Hong Kong, Chinese landscape art had a significant impact on him, serving as particular sources of inspiration. The family eventually settled back in England in 1959, and he enrolled in the grammar school of Ashford. His educational journey continued in 1968 when he successfully completed his studies and obtained his graduation from the Royal College of Art. As part of his research in this institution, he explored the psychology of architecture and sought to understand what factors contributed to people's comfort within buildings. His thesis focused on creating a feeling of tranquility in residential architecture. One of Dean's initial success didn't come from his work as an illustrator, but from his role as an industrial designer. In 1967, as part of his research at the Royal College, he crafted a chair known as the Sea Urchin chair. In the subsequent year, he secured a patent for this creation. This chair is regarded as a forerunner to the beanbag, as it can be compressed and perfectly mold itself to the user's shape and size. The chair's design was finalized while Dean was among a select group of students chosen by renowned designer Cheryl Shear to design and craft objects in her factory. Interestingly, the chair remains one of Shear's personal favorites, and it has earned a place in the permanent collection of the Victoria and Albert Museum. Years later, Roger Dean was enlisted to create a logo for the independent record label Fly Records. This initial project led him to collaborate on a singles cover for the musician Mark Whelan, where he was responsible for crafting the typography. To ensure precision, Dean worked alongside a graphic designer who helped guide the printing team in placing the letters. The positive response to Dean's distinctive handwriting style prompted him to handwrite text for additional Whelan singles. The enthusiasm and support from the label's staff boosted Dean's confidence in continuing his hand-drawn approach, extending it to logos and various graphic projects. In 1968, Roger Dean embarked on his illustration journey. His initial projects include crafting the artwork for The Gun and contributing to the album cover for Atomic Roosters in Hearing Of. During the same year, Dean was commissioned to design the cover for the debut album of the African-Caribbean band Osibisa, a striking creation that melded elements of insects and elephants. This album cover hinted at the distinctive style that would later make him famous. Shortly thereafter, he commenced collaborations with prominent progressive rock bands, most notably Yes and Asia, establishing his reputation. His first work for Yes was on their album Fragile. He pitched a story on a creation myth rather than a particular image for it, about a child who dreamed they were living on a planet that was breaking up, so they had to build a space ark to find another planet to live on, and they towed all the little bits of the planet with them. Notably, he introduced the iconic Yes logo, which made its debut on the album Close to the Edge.
There is a very close link between our sound and Roger's art.
In the case of the band Asia, Roger Dean was highly influential in shaping the visual identity of the group. One of the most notable contributions for this band was his design for the band's debut album, released in 1982. The cover art depicted a fantastical landscape, characteristic of Dean's signature style. Roger Dean's illustration is renowned for his ability to create surreal and otherworldly landscapes. His artwork often features floating islands, intricate rock formations, exotic creatures, and organic, flowing shapes. These landscapes transport viewers to a dreamlike and fantastical realms, blurring the line between reality and fantasy. Dean frequently employs a rich and harmonious color palette, which enhances the sense of wonder in his work. Vivid blues, greens, and purples often dominate his pieces, creating a sense of depth and tranquility. His designs often incorporate flowing, interconnected forms that give a sense of unity and cohesion to the entire composition. These flowing shapes can be seen in the architecture, flora and fauna within his artwork. Nature is a recurring theme in Dean's work. His art frequently features natural elements such as water, rocks, and lush vegetation. He often combines these elements with futuristic and surreal elements. His work sometimes includes fantastical creatures and characters that inhabit his surreal landscapes, adding an element of storytelling and mythology to his art. Along with his work with album covers, Roger Dean also did illustrations for several video game covers such as Bratacus, Terrorbots, Chrono Quest, Shadow of the Beasts, among many others. Of course, with such as exuberant talent, this English artist has several books compiling his works, including Views in 1975. This book is full of sketches and finished works covering the first 7 years of his career. Almost 10 years later, Magnetic Storm was published. This book showcases the collaborative work of Roger Dean and his brother Martin, created between 1975 and 1984, a book that spans a wide range of creations, from airplane liveries and illustrations of the War of the World to video game art and drawings of sustainable architecture. And in 2008 was published The Dragon's Dream, which is a fantastic set of fantastical landscapes that includes selection from his Paleolithic series, futuristic depictions, and portraits of a whole series of monsters, robots, and warriors. This influence extends beyond album cover art. His style, which blends organic and futuristic elements, has inspired other visual artists to explore similar themes in their work. His unique approach to creating otherworldly landscapes has encouraged to experiment with their artistic expression. Dean's use of typography and lettering in his art has had an impact on graphic design and branding. His ability to seamlessly integrate text into his compositions has set a standard for how lettering can be an integral part of design. His art has left a mark on popular culture, especially in the realm of science fiction and fantasy. His surreal and fantastical worlds have been referenced in various forms of media, including movies, video games, and literature. Roger Dean's art has made a profound impact on album cover design, progressive rock music, visual art, graphic design, and various facets of popular culture. His ability to transport viewers to otherworldly realms and create a sense of wonder has become one of those illustrators of reference for the general public as well as for the other illustrators who came after him. Today, we are diving into the captivating world of one of the most influential and celebrated comic creators in history, the maestro of the ninth art, Hugo Pratt. Whether you are a long-time fan or just discovering his work, this video is your passport to the mesmerizing realm of Hugo Pratt's imagination. So sit back, relax, and join me, and embark on an exciting journey through the life, artistry, and enduring legacy of this iconic figure in the world of comics. Let's set sail into the mystic world of Corto Maltese and beyond. Hugo Pratt born on June 15, 1927, in a village near Rimini, Italy, but he always considered himself a Venetian since he grew up in Venice. However, he embarked on a global journey later in life. In 1937, his family relocated to Ethiopia following Mussolini's Italian occupation. His father took a job at a road construction office there. When World War II erupted, his father enrolled him in a National Defense Battalion. In 1943, he and his mother were evacuated from Ethiopia, but his father got captured by the French in Harar and tragically passed away in 1944 from liver cancer in a prison camp. After the war, Pratt attended a military school in Città di Castello, located in the Perugia province in Italy. In 1945, he joined the self-proclaimed Venice Group, collaborating with notable figures from the world of comics like Alberto Ongaro, Dino Battaglia, and Mario Faustinelli to create the magazine Asso di Pique. From this publication was born the first known character in which Pratt participated as a penciler under the script of Alberto Ongaro. At this time, Hugo Pratt's drawing was strongly influenced by American comics, and he himself acknowledged his admiration for Milton Caniff. In 1949, As the Picas was published in Argentina in the Salgari magazine. The owner of the April publishing house, Cesar Civita, invited Pratt to work for him, so Pratt went to Buenos Aires. There he got a job as an editor. While working for the adventure magazine Mysterix, he got to know Argentine artists like José Luis Salinas, José Muñoz, and Francisco Solano López. But most importantly, he met someone who would have a big impact on his future career, Héctor Germán Oesterheld. They worked together for several comics, including Sergeant Kirk, Tico Deroga, and Ernie Pike. In 1962, Pratt came back to Italy. He started working on a children's magazine called Il Corriere dei Piccoli. About 5 years after he returned to Italy, he made something that would become the most important part of his career and one of the most important milestones in the history of comics. In February 1967, Hugo Pratt crossed paths with Fiorenzo Ibaldi, a wealthy real estate developer and a fan of Pratt's art. Ibaldi had a proposal for Pratt. They should create a comic magazine to publish all the Pratt's work from his time in Argentina. In July of that year, the first issue of the magazine was released under the name Sergeant Kirk. Inside its pages, the story Una Balata del Mare Salato, the Ballad of the Salty Sea, came to life. This marked the beginning of what would later become the thrilling adventure series of Corto Maltese. Corto Maltese is a series about the exciting life of a mysterious sea captain during the early 20th century. Corto was born in Valletta on the island of Malta on July 10, 1887. He is the son of a Cornish sailor and a gypsy woman from Seville, Spain, but he is a British citizen. The series tells us all about his adventures as he travels around the world. Corto Maltese is celebrated for its richly detailed and historical portrayal of various exotic and often remote locations. Pratt's meticulous research and vivid artwork transport readers to places like Venice, the South Pacific, Africa, and South America. The series features a wide array of complex characters, from adventurers and revolutionaries to historical figures and everyday people. Corto Maltese himself is a morally ambiguous and introspective character, making him stand out in the world of comics. Pratt weaves real-world historical and political events into the narrative, providing a unique perspective on the early 20th century. This incorporation of historical context adds depth and substance to the storytelling. Hugo Pratt's work is heavily influenced by a variety of sources, including classic adventure literature, art movements like Expressionism and Surrealism, and his own extensive travels. His storytelling is characterized by its literary quality and poetic narration. His artwork is celebrated for its distinctive and evocative style. He had a unique talent for capturing the ambience and mood of various settings, whether it was the deserts of the Sahara, the canals of Venice, or the jungles of South America. Over the years, Hugo Pratt created 29 stories featuring Corto Maltese, each offering a new and captivating adventure. These stories span a wide range of themes and settings, from the grand tales of exploration to intimate character-driven narrative. Corto Maltese has left a significant mark on the world of comics and beyond. It has been translated into numerous languages and gained a devoted international following. The character of Corto Maltese has become an enduring symbol of adventure and romanticism. In 1970, Hugo Pratt made his home in Saint-Germain, France, and later he moved to Paris. During the first 5 years of the 70s, he focused on Corto Maltese. Then, in 1975, he returned to one of his other works, Scorpioni del Deserto, under the title Piccolo Chalet, Gallo come te. He revisited in 1980 with the third part, Avvocati in Dancaglia. The figure of Hugo Pratt began to be so great that other authors incorporated him into their work as a character, such as Alberto Ongaro, that featured Pratt as the hero in one of his novels, and Milo Manara included him as one of the central characters in his series called H.P. and Giuseppe Bergman. In fact, Milo Manara and Hugo Pratt would work together on 2 comic books, Indian Summer and El Gaucho. At that point, Hugo Pratt had become a cultural phenomenon, a legend. There were exhibitions and many articles about him. Intellectuals like Umberto Eco wrote introductions for his works. Because of all of this, people started to take comics more seriously and finally see them as an art form. And rightly so, because Hugo Pratt is one of those artists who play a crucial role in elevating comics from being seen as children's entertainment to being recognized as a legitimate art form. His sophisticated storytelling and unique artwork help bridge the gap between popular culture and high art. Pratt's stories have a timeless quality, making them relevant and engaging to readers of different generations. His work is often enjoyed by both longtime fans and newcomers to the world of comics. Many contemporary comic artists and writers cite Hugo Pratt as a significant influence on their work. His storytelling techniques and character development have inspired subsequent generations of creators.
Hugo Pratt was a formidable storyteller before being a cartoonist, but could he have been a storyteller if he had not been a cartoonist? Understandable to everyone despite his enormous culture, in which literary, mythological, ethnographic references were abundant. A complete artist. Hugo Pratt creates fabulous and seductive characters. Well, but he is also the best cartoonist in the world.
Hugo Pratt was not only an extraordinary artist, but also an extraordinary human being, because like his characters, he had a life full of troubles and adventures, which made him experience situations that few have experienced, and these situations have modeled him as a person and as a storyteller. And although a cancer ended his life in the mid-90s, his legacy transcends by far his physical presence in our earthly world. He expanded the horizons of the comic medium, transcended boundaries, and laid the groundwork for comics to be considered a serious and influential art form, reminding us of the timeless appeal of well-crafted stories and beautifully rendered illustrations. Hugo Pratt's legacy will always shine brightly in the pantheon of comic book creators, leaving a lasting impact on the world of graphic storytelling. Today we delve into the extraordinary world of James Gurney, an artist whose boundless creativity has brought to life the enchanting landscapes of Dinotopia and has left an indelible mark on the realm of imaginative realism. From the pages of his iconic Dinotopia series to the rich tapestry of his plein air paintings, Gurney's work is a testament to the power of art to transport us to worlds both familiar and utterly fantastical. Join me as we explore the life, the art, and the incredible vision of James Gurney, a master of blending reality with the fantastical. James Gurney was born in California in 1958. He learned to draw by reading books by artists Norman Rockwell and Howard Pyle. He went to the University of California in Berkeley and studied archaeology. He graduated with honors in anthropology. After that, he learned about drawing at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena for a few semesters. In the 80s, Gurney's freelance illustration career began. During this time, he got good at making realistic drawing of fantastic scenes. He used oil paint like the old-time artists from Dutch Golden Age painting. He made over 70 covers for books about science fiction and fantasy. Having accumulated a sufficient experience in a short period of time, he and Thomas Kincaid wrote a book together in 1982. In 1976, Thomas Kincaid and James Gurney became friends when they shared a room in college. Before they started working as an artist, they traveled around the US in boxcars, drawing and seeking adventure. They were like wandering artists, always sketching wherever they went. A lot of this spirit and their story is in this book they wrote together, called The Artist's Guide to Sketching, which expresses that artists should go outside and draw from nature. The book really focuses on using the surrounding to capture feelings and moods. They say that the artist should let their emotions and thoughts show in their finished artwork. During the same period in which the book was published, they worked as background painters for the animated film Fire and Ice, co-produced by Ralph Bakshi and Frank Frazetta. In 1983, James Gurney started doing over a dozen jobs for National Geographic magazine. These jobs included making illustrations of what ancient Moshi, Kushite, and Etruscan civilizations may have looked like. Looking into these ancient scenes inspired him to make a series of paintings about lost worlds like Dinosaur Parade and Waterfall City. This is how the idea of creating a book, which he would spend 2 years making, which he later called Dinotopia in 1992, was born. Dinotopia is a series of books with illustrations that tell exciting stories. These stories are a mix of adventure, science fiction, and fantasy, meant for kids and young adults who like the idea of a lost world. Dinotopia is a made-up, perfect, and imaginary place. The books talk about a mysterious island far away in the Earth's oceans, hidden from the rest of the world. This island is home to people who got stranded there long ago and their families, along with the smart dinosaurs that can attack. The interesting thing is that they figure out how to live together peacefully, like one big harmonious society. They have their own way of doing things, like politics, economy, culture, language, and religion. The stories are set in a time like Victorian England and follow ideas about freedom, fairness, being peaceful, accepting differences, and caring for the environment and animals. The first book went out in 18 languages across more than 30 countries and got backed by 2 million people. Dinotopia, A Land Apart from Time, and Dinotopia, The World Beneath, both got Hugo Awards for being the best original artworks. Since that first book, there have been 22 more books about Dinotopia. James Gurney wrote 3 of them, and others by different writers continued the series. On top of that, there are 4 video games, a mini-series, a TV show, and a movie that came out. Instead of using digital tools, Gurney did this artwork outdoors, made small sketches, took pictures of people in costumes, and built models from cardboard and clay. With these methods, he made 150 oil paintings for his book. Some people say that certain scenes in the movie Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, especially those of Teeth City on Naboo, seem to copy pictures from Gurney's books. Gurney acknowledged the resemblance, but he stays positive about it. Actually, back in 1994, director George Lucas talked with producers about ideas for a Dinotopia movie that never happened. Whether James Gurney depicted imaginary worlds in the Dinotopia series, or capturing scenes from everyday life. His commitment to realism is evident in the precision of his artwork. The fact that he uses traditional techniques and materials, giving his work a classic and timeless quality. Gurney pays meticulous attention to the interplay of light and color in his paintings. His understanding of how light behaves and influences the atmosphere in a scene is evident in the vibrant and rich colors he employs. While rooted in realism, Gurney's art often ventures into imaginative realms. He has an incredible ability to bring to life fantastical worlds and creatures with a sense of authenticity. Gurney's portfolio encompasses a wide range of subjects, from historical and archaeological scenes to imaginative landscapes and fantastical creatures. This diversity showcases his versatility as an artist. In addition to Dinotopia and his book with Thomas Kincaid, he also published 2 books about art education: Imaginative Realism, How to Paint What Doesn't Exist, which is about drawing and painting things that aren't real, and Color and Light, a guide for the realist painter. These books came from Gurney's blog, where he shared practical tips with artists who draw realistic and fantasy stuff. James Gurney is a highly accomplished artist whose life and work have left a mark on the world of illustration and realistic fantasy. Apart from his artistic achievements, Gurney has shared his knowledge and insight with artistic community through workshops, lectures, and social media. With a diverse portfolio that spans a range of subjects and a dedication to both traditional and imaginative realism realms, James Gurney continues to inspire and captivate art enthusiasts around the world. His impact extends beyond the canvas, influencing aspiring artists and fostering a deeper appreciation for the intersection of art, imagination, and storytelling. Today we are diving into the mesmerizing world of visionary artist and illustrator Philippe Caza. Hailing from the heart of artistic expression in Paris, Caza has carved a unique niche for himself in the realm of science fiction and fantasy art. With a career spanning several decades, Caza's work is a captivating blend of the organic and the mechanical, often transporting us to surreal and futuristic landscapes that defy imagination. Join me as we explore the life, influences, and iconic works of Philippe Caza. Caza, whose full name is Philippe Caza, is a French artist and illustrator known for his work in the science fiction and fantasy genres. He was born on November 14, 1941, in Paris, France. At the age of 18, Philippe began a career in the world of advertising that would last 10 years until the 70s, when he decided to make the leap to the world of comics and cartoonist, developing his particular and recognizable style with the release of his first comic book, Chris Cool. Chris Cool is an ultra-psychedelic journey to Venus, Mars, and Saturn, about a character exploring the future and going through a bunch of fantastic scenes while trying to achieve his goal. This individual can handle issues using both intimacy and force. Philippe revealed more of his creative skills by contributing to Pilot magazine. In 1971, he kicked off series like When Suits Had Teeth, followed by Scenes from Suburban Life in 1975, and later The Age of Shadow. Twilight Dwellers and The Rampart of the Night. His taste for science fiction, the future, psychology and surrealism would only grow in later years, especially in the magazine Metal Holland in 1975, where he would produce titles such as Sanguine, Archie, and Lilac. And this last story can be used as an example of the most outstanding characteristics of this great French illustrator. Lilac retells Noah's Ark myth, but it's in a totally different world, like a fantasy land that's really special. It's told in a series of 3 parts, and each one is like a beautiful poem. Caza used his precise drawing skills to create a wild imagination trip, like a psychedelic science fiction dream. The whole vibe is this mix of cosmic and erotic feelings, and the colors he picked are just amazing. They really stand out and grab your attention. Stepping into Caza's psychedelic world is like taking trips in your mind, full of mysteries and filled with creatures that exist only in the imagination of this genius. You'll find human-like beings and even bodies that suggest femininity, all in a kind of intimate connection with the universe. Caza's illustrations are marked by intricate and detailed line work. His careful and precise use of lines contribute to the richness and complexity of his images, allowing viewers to explore the finer detail within his creations. A recurring theme in Caza's work is the fusion of organic and mechanical elements. His art often depicts an harmonious or sometimes jarring coexistence of natural and technological forms, creating a visually compelling contrast. While Caza is known for his detailed line work, he also uses a thoughtful and sometimes bold color palette. The colors he chooses enhance the mood and atmospheres of his pieces, adding an additional layer of complexity to his work. For all mentioned above, his illustrations project a distinctive cinematographic style, and maybe that is why between 1985 and 1987 he worked in close collaboration with René Lelouch on the animated science fiction and fantasy film Gandahar, based on the novel by Jean-Pierre Andrebaum. The storyline of Gandahar revolves around a peaceful world, a utopian society threatened by mysterious and destructive forces known as the Men of Metal. These metallic beings are capable of turning living creatures into stone, posing a grave danger to Gandahar's inhabitants. The protagonist sets out on a journey to uncover the origins of this threat and save his world. Philippe Caza's artistic influence is evident throughout the film. His surreal and intricate style and imaginative landscapes, characters, and creatures that populate the world of Gandahar. The collaboration between Lelouch and Caza resulted in a visually stunning and atmospheric animated feature. The animation techniques used in Gandahar are notable. The visual aesthetic, coupled with Lelouch's storytelling and Caza's artistic vision, creates a unique cinematic experience. While Gandahar did not achieve the same level of mainstream success as some other animated films of its time, it has gained a cult following among fans of science fiction and animation. Years later, he would continue his cinematographic adventure, where he was not only in charge of the artistic section, but also contributed to the writing of the script. Between 2002 and 2003, he worked with Philippe Leclerc on the animation film The Rain Children, based on the novel by Serge Brussolo. Since the Great Sundering, the world has split into 2 parts. There's the Land of Fire, a huge desert where the Pyros people live, and the Land of Water, where the Hydros reside. The Pyros have red skin and strong muscular bodies. Water hurts them, and rain can even be deadly. On the flip side, the Hydros have curvy bodies and blue skin. Water is the most important to them. In the summer, the hydras turn into stone statues, making them vulnerable, and that is when the pyros embark on a crusade across the desert in search of the people they think are responsible for their problems. The war between the pyros and the hydras continued until the day when Scan, a young pyros warrior who had gone on a crusade in the distant desert, set his eyes on Callisto. In the grand tapestry of artistic brilliance, Philippe Caza stands as a luminary, a conjure that stretches the boundaries of imagination, navigating the vast realms he has crafted. Is akin to embarking on an odyssey through the cosmos, where each stroke of his pencil unveils a portal to uncharted territories of creativity. In the saga of speculative fiction and fantasy art, Caza's chapters are richly woven, leaving an indelible imprint on the canvas of imagination. Like a cosmic architect, he has sculpted dreamscapes that inspire, provoke, and transcend the ordinary. Today we are diving into the mesmerizing realm of one of the industry's legendary figures, none other than the masterful artist Manuel Sanjulian. Join me as we explore the hauntingly beautiful landscapes of Sanjulian's imagination, from his groundbreaking work with Warren Publishing in the 70s to his diverse contribution in both the American and European comic book scenes. Get ready to be transported into a world where shadows dance, colors come alive, and every stroke of the brush tells a story. Manuel Pérez Clemente, best known as Sanjulian, was born in Barcelona, Spain in 1941. When he was young, he didn't think of drawing as something he could do for a job. He saw it more like a hobby. After he finished high school at 16, he went to the Nautical School of Barcelona because he wanted to be a merchant seaman like others in his family. But to make some extra cash, he had this idea of creating a collection of portraits of movie stars. He then offered his services to the distribution agencies to design posters. After several rejections, he finally got a trial job from Fox around 1959. His first assignment was an advertising work on the diary of Anne Frank. With such as obvious talent for drawing, a friend who was an art restorer recommended him to study at the Academy of Fine Arts of Sant Jordi. And so, at the age of 20, he began his studies in fine arts, leaving behind his nautical studies to focus on a career as an artist. Eventually, his artistic path led him to Bruguera, an important publishing house in Spain, founded in the early 20th century. There, he was commissioned to do romantic comics, which was not much to his liking, so he looked for another publisher with work more suited to the style he wanted to develop. That's when Sanjulian became part of Josep Toutain's Selecciones Ilustradas art agency. Toutain was an important figure in the Spanish comic book scene, being an editor, scriptwriter, and cartoonist. At first, Sanjulian did work for the comic section, but soon people outside of Spain started noticing his full-color artwork. His comics were published in Germany, various Scandinavian countries, and eventually in England. In the 70s, Sanjulian created a couple of comic adaptations of movies and serialized a story in Simok magazine. He found success in British market, collaborating with well-known publishers like Futura, Fontana, and Harrow. Starting in the early 70s, Selecciones Ilustradas started getting requests to do work for American publishers. Initially, they were asked to do comic illustrations, but later they also got requests for cover designs. Once Warren Publishing saw examples of Sanjulian's artwork, they asked him to create several covers for their horror and fantasy publications. He did illustration for Warren publications such as Creepy, Eerie, and Famous Monsters. However, he is most connected with the Vampirella series, creating many memorable covers for it. Since then, Sanjulian has collaborated with different US publishers, including Dell, Ace, Daw, Bantam, Fawcett, and Berkeley. Also, he has done work for the horror maestro, Clive Barker. Sanjulian excels in creating atmospheric and moody scenes. His use of light and shadow is masterful, contributing to the overall ambience in his illustrations. This skill is especially pronounced in his horror-themed artwork, where he effectively builds suspense and tension through his use of shadows. His illustrations are marked by intricate details and commitment to realism. Whether depicting characters, landscapes, or fantastical creatures, he pays careful attention to the finer elements, bringing a high level of detail to his work. His color palette adds vibrancy to his illustrations, enhancing the visual impact of his artwork. This is particularly evident in his full-color covers for horror and fantasy publications. Sanjulian often portrays beautiful and mysterious female characters in his art, adding a touch of sensuality and elegance to his compositions. These characters become central to the storytelling aspect of his illustrations. His compositions are dynamic and carefully crafted to draw the viewer into the narrative. Sanjulian's ability to arrange elements in a visually engaging way contributes to the storytelling aspect of his artwork. While he is best known for his work in horror and fantasy genres, Sanjulian has showcased versatility by contributing to various artistic endeavors, including movie poster designs, book covers, and illustrations for different genres. In 1984, he parted ways with Selecciones Ilustradas. After that, he was affiliated with Norma Agency, a part of Norma Editorial. During this period, most of his work was focused on the United States. Almost all of his assignments came from there, leaving him with little time to work in Spain or Europe. In that time in Spain, he has mostly worked in advertising for brands like Winston and the Port Aventura Park amusement park. Additionally, he has crafted numerous movie posters and designed several posters for the Sitges Fantastic Film Festival, which happened to be in the same city where he resides. Apart from creating illustrations for commercial purposes, Manuel Sanjulian has also created many figurative paintings. He has showcased these paintings in various galleries, and he has even exhibited his artwork multiple times in the Society of Illustrators in New York. As we conclude our journey into the captivating world of Manuel Sanjulian's artistry, one can't help but marvel at the depth and versatility of his contributions to the realm of fantasy and horror illustration, from the iconic covers of Vampirella to the atmospheric scenes that brought nightmares to life in Creepy and Eerie. Sanjulian's ability to weave a narrative through his brush strokes, whether it's capturing the essence of a movie or bringing advertising to life, speaks volumes about his enduring talent. Whether you are a seasoned enthusiast or a newcomer to his art, there is no denying the timeless allure of Sanjulian's masterpieces. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of art and culture as we explore the life and work of a true visionary, Robert Williams, an American painter, cartoonist, and the founding force behind the iconic Juxtapose art and culture magazine. Join me as we unravel the layers of his unique artistic journey, from his early days as a trailblazing cartoonist in the underground scene to his evolution as a masterful painter, whose canvases are a kaleidoscope of pop culture, surrealism, and rebellious spirit. Get ready to a visual feast as we explore the captivating world of Rob Williams. Robert L. Williams II was born on March 2, 1943 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. When he was a child, he liked drawing and using watercolors, but soon that interest for art mixed with the interest for cars. Williams developed a passion for cars when he was very young. His dad owned the Park Moore, a drive-in restaurant with car hubs, and it was a popular spot for hot rodders. When Williams was 12, his dad gave him his first car as a gift, a 1934 Ford 5-window coupe. Williams had a home that wasn't steady, and his parents didn't get along. They separated in 1956, and after that, 12-year-old Robert stayed with his mother. He started getting into troubles, getting involved in race cars, parties, and street gangs. This eventually led to him getting kicked out of public school in the 11th grade. To avoid going to jail, Williams moved to Los Angeles in 1963 when he was 20. There he took art classes at Los Angeles City College, where he met Suzanne Corna, who would later become his wife. Later on, he attended the California Institute of the Arts, but he quit it after getting married and started working as a professional artist. He did various jobs, including working for Black Belt magazine and designing containers for the Weyerhaeuser Corporation. In 1965, he got a job with Ed Big Daddy Roth, who was an American artist who drew cartoons, made illustrations, did pinstriping, and designed and built custom cars. One of his famous creations is the hot rod icon Rat Fink, along with some other cool characters. In the late 60s, while working on advertising and graphics for Roth, Williams also spent time painting with oils. This was when he made his famous super cartoon paintings. One of them was called Appetite for Destruction, which year later the hard rock band Guns N' Roses wanted to use for their first album, but it got censored. He also painted In the Land of Retina Delight around the same time. These paintings were made very carefully, using techniques from the old master of paintings. They looked really impressive, but because he took so much care with each one, they took a long time to finish, sometimes a whole year, for just one painting. Robert Williams started to be known for his distinctive style, which is often categorized as part of the lowbrow or pop surrealism movement. His paintings are a fusion of various influences, blending elements of pop culture, surrealism, and classical techniques. Williams creates fantastical and surreal scenes that often defy reality. His paintings are filled with bizarre and dreamlike imagery, where elements are rearranged and exaggerated to provoke a sense of wonder and intrigue. Many of Williams' paintings tell a story or convey a narrative. Viewers are often drawn into the scenes he creates, and there's a sense of storytelling within the composition of each piece. Drawing inspiration from American pop culture, Williams incorporates imagery from comics, hot rod culture, and pin-up art. His work often features iconic symbols and characters, giving it a unique and recognizable quality. In 1969, Williams became a part of Sub Comics Group when they released Sub Comics number 4. It was a well-known underground comic in the United States that thrived during the non-conformist and anti-establishment art movement at that time. He joined forces with other artists like Robert Crumb, S. Clyde Wilson, Gilbert Shelton, Spain Rodriguez, Rick Griffin, and Victor Moscoso. In that same year, Williams introduced Cutie Cutie, his important anti-hero in the world of underground comics. This character first appeared in 1970 in Cutie Cutie Men's Comics and showed up in many Zap Comics issues. Many of Williams' paintings carry an underlying social or cultural commentary. Through his art, he addresses issues such as consumerism, societal norms, and the collision of high and low art forms. His work often challenges conventional ideas and invites viewers to reconsider established norms. In the 80s, Williams got into the punk rock scene and connected with a new group of fans. Around this time, he released zombie mystery paintings. These paintings had a bold, attractive, and a very intense images that had a big impact on many artists. Williams created them rapidly on untreated canvases, and because they were so popular, people had to wait to get them from a waiting list. Because he was already widely recognized, Williams released many books showcasing his art and its evolution. He influenced other artists and provided a platform for them through publications like Art Alternative in 1992, and later through the founding of Juxtapose, Art and Culture magazine. Williams started Juxtapose in 1994 with the goal of bringing together modern art genres such as psychedelic, hot rod art, graffiti, street art, and illustration. The magazine helped many new artists gain fame and became one of the most widely read art magazines. The artistic journey of Rob Williams is a captivating exploration of creativity, rebellion, and the fusion of diverse influences from his early days as a cartoonist and founder of Juxtapose to his groundbreaking contributions to the lowbrow art movement. Williams has left an indelible mark on the contemporary art landscape. His distinctive style, blending surrealism, pop culture, and technical mastery, continues to inspire and challenge artistic norms. As we've delved into the life and work of this visionary artist, we've witnessed the evolution of a true iconoclast whose rebellious spirit and commitment to pushing boundaries have shaped the course of modern art. Today we embark on a journey into the magical realms crafted by an artist whose brushstrokes have shaped the very landscapes of our imagination. Join me as we dive into the enchanting world of Michael Whelan, a maestro of fantasy and science fiction art. With a career spanning decades, Michael Whelan has become a luminary in the realms of speculative fiction, bringing to life the fantastical worlds of renowned authors and captivating audiences with his visual storytelling. From the iconic covers of best-selling novels to mesmerizing album artwork, Whelan's creations are a testament to the boundless power of imagination. So buckle up as we explore the brushstrokes, inspirations, and the mesmerizing portfolio of this great artist. Michael Whelan was born in 1950 in Culver City, California. When he was a kid, his family moved a lot because his dad worked in the aerospace industry. They changed homes almost every 2 years. Michael had to go to 8 different elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 4 high schools. Sometimes in the summers, they live in different places. He spent his growing up years in Colorado, various cities along the California coast, and in New Mexico, close to the White Sands missile field. Living near White Sands and Vandenberg Air Force Base had a big impact on him and fueled his love for science fiction. Back in the early 60s, Michael had a strong interest in science fiction movies, TV shows, and especially UFOs. Whenever there was a sighting, he would head straight to the local library to check if they had any new books about flying saucers. He was really good at drawing monsters, UFOs, and heroes. Other kids were so impressed with his artwork that it helped him make new friends. In high school, he was even part of a rock band. He used his artistic skills to create psychedelic posters for school dances, illustrations for yearbook, and other school publications. Art became a way for him to connect with others and express himself during those high school days. When he was in the 10th grade of high school, his family moved to Denver, Colorado. That's when he officially started learning about art. At the age of 15, during the summers, he took classes at the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. After high school, Whelan went on to study biology at San Jose State University. During his time there, he worked in the Department of Anatomy and Physiology. This job gave him hands-on experience with human anatomy. He did various tasks like preparing bodies for classes, putting bones together to create full skeletons, making models of body parts, and doing some medical illustrations. After finishing his degree in painting from San Jose State University in 1973, Whelan went on to study at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, for about 9 months between 1973 and 1974. During this time, he showcased his artwork at the World Science Fiction Convention in Washington, D.C. Thomas Schlock, who saw Whelan's work at the convention, was impressed by the young artist's talent. Schlock hired him to feature his work in European publication shortly after. Not long after that, Donald A. Wollheim from Da Books gave Whelan his first professional job in the United States. Whelan was commissioned to create the cover painting and frontispiece drawing for Lynn Carter's fantasy novel, The Enchantress of World's End, which was published in 1975. This marked a significant step in Whelan's burgeoning career as a fantasy and science fiction artist. This was the beginning of a successful and well-respected career as a creative and dependable artist for book covers. He worked with science fiction and fantasy publishers, as I mentioned before, but also with Ace and Del Rey. With Del Rey, he took on one of the most crucial projects in his early career. In 1978, he created for Anne McCaffrey's best-selling book, The White Dragon. This project became a turning point that influenced his future projects. An important thing to know about how Michael Whelan worked is that he always read the entire book he was going to illustrate, usually twice. The book itself played a crucial role in deciding how he would create the cover design. His talent was quickly recognized as he won his first Hugo Award for Best Professional Artist in 1980 at the World Science Fiction Convention in Boston. This would not be his only Hugo, as he would be awarded multiple times over the decades. Michael Whelan's painting had been featured on over 350 books and magazines. These include a variety of works from Stephen King's novels and Edgar Rice Burroughs' Mars series to Melanie Ron's Dragon Prince and Dragon Star series. Whelan's art has also graced the covers of collections of short stories by H.P. Lovecraft and many other fantastic authors in the realms of fantasy and science fiction. Michael Whelan's art style is characterized by its vivid imagination, attention to details, and the ability to transport viewers into fantastical worlds. Over the course of his prolific career, Whelan has showcased versatility in his artistic approach, but certain themes and techniques are consistently present in his works.
Whelan often employs a realistic style as a foundation, particularly in his depictions of human figures and landscapes. However, he infuses his realism with a sense of fantasy, using imaginative and otherworldly elements to create a dreamlike atmosphere. His compositions are dynamic and captivating, guiding the viewer's eyes through the artwork. Whether it's a sweeping landscape or a character-centric piece, Whelan's compositions contribute to the overall narrative of the piece. Whelan is known for his skillful use of light and shadow, creating a sense of depth and dimension in his artwork. This mastery adds a level of realism to even the most fantastical scenes, enhancing the overall visual impact. Whelan's color palette is rich and vibrant, contributing to the overall immersive quality of his art. Whether it's the warm hues of a magical sunset or a cool tones of moonlit night, his use of color enhances the emotional impact of his pieces. While Michael Whelan is famous around the world for his book covers, he's also done some amazing work on music album covers. He started doing this in the 90s, and one of his first was the cover of Meatloaf album Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. Since then, he's created covers for numerous albums, working with artists like Michael Jackson and Sepultura, to name a few very different between them. Around the mid-90s, Michael Whelan started his journey in fine art. He began selling paintings that he created without a specific request through art galleries in the United States and on his website. Even though Whelan has come back to make illustrations for some big book covers, like the last book in Stephen King's Dark Tower series and the final volume of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, a lot of his art production is based on his own ideas and visions. Michael Whelan's life and work are a testament to his extraordinary talent, versatility, and profound impact on the realm of fantasy and science fiction art. From his early fascination with UFOs and childhood love for drawing, Whelan's journey led him to become a renowned artist, particularly celebrated for his imaginative book covers illustrations. His ability to bring fantastical worlds to life, combined with a meticulous attention to detail and a dynamic artistic style, has left an indelible mark on the genre. His legacy is one of inspiration, leaving behind a vast and enchanting gallery of imagery that continues to captivate and transport audiences into the realm of the fantastical. Michael Whelan's enduring impact cements his status as a master of speculative fiction art, and his work remains a source of fascination and admiration for fans and fellow artists alike. In the colorful landscape of manga and anime, there are few names as legendary as Akira Toriyama. From the whimsical adventures of Dr. Slump to the epic battles of Dragon Ball, Toriyama's creative genius has enchanted audiences worldwide for decades. Join me on a journey as we explore the life, work, and enduring legacy of the man behind some of the most beloved characters in manga history. Discover the imagination, the inspiration, and the unmistakable artistry of Akira Toriyama, a visionary whose creations paved the way for manga and anime in the Western world. Akira Toriyama was born on April 5, 1955, in Kiyosu City, Aichi Prefecture, Japan. When he was young, he loved drawing animals and vehicles, and actually, he kept doing that as he grew up and became a professional artist. One of the first things that inspired him artistically was watching the movie 101 Dalmatians in 1961. Later, when he was in elementary school, he got really interested in manga after seeing a classmate's older brother's manga collection. When Akira was young, one of the manga that really got him was Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy. He was really into manga during school, but when he got to high school, he stopped reading comic books and started watching movies and TV shows instead. He was especially into the Ultraman show and the Gamera monster movies. Even though he didn't read a lot of manga back then, sometimes he would draw his own. Toriyama wasn't very keen on going to university. In fact, he skipped that step altogether and went straight into the job market, even though his parents strongly opposed it. At first, he worked as a publicist at an advertising agency in Nagoya, where he made posters. Toriyama mentioned he got used to the job quickly, but he confessed he was often late because he wasn't good at waking up early, and he often got in trouble for not dressing properly. After getting tired of the atmosphere of that job, he decided to quit after 3 years. Later on, he chased his dream of becoming a manga artist and signed a contract with Shonen Jump magazine. His first big success came with Dr. Slump. This manga ran in weekly Shonen Jump from 1980 to 1984 and became incredibly popular, making Toriyama a well-known name in the world of manga. The story follows the adventures of a quirky scientist and his super strong robot, Areli, who looks like a cute little girl. An anime based on the manga started airing in 1981 during prime time on Fuji TV. Dr. Slump went on to sell over 35 million copies in Japan alone. As you can see, Toriyama was already a successful manga artist back then, but his next creation would take his career to unimaginable heights, even beyond what he could have dreamed of. After finishing Dr. Slump in 1984, he began writing a short story called Dragon Boy, which he soon renamed Dragon Ball, and started turning into a new manga series. The story revolves around the adventures of Son Goku and his friends as they embark on a monumental quest to find the 7 magical Dragon Balls. When gathered together, these balls can summon a dragon god, Shen Long, who has the power to grant wishes. The original idea grew into an incredible story that touched many generations. When we talk about Dragon Ball, we are talking about one of the most influential entertainment franchises of the recent times. The characters and world created by Akira Toriyama have become a symbol of courage, hope, and friendship for people of all ages around the globe. This story has reached countless countries on every continent. Akira Toriyama is seen as one of the key figures who brought manga and anime to the world stage, making them essential part of popular culture. Even today, many products from Japan where these stories originated continue to have a strong impact on millions of fans who love comics and animation. Part of the success of Dragon Ball is due to Akira Toriyama's incredible ability to design characters and vehicles. Toriyama's style of character design is distinctive and easily recognizable. He employs a combination of simple yet expressive features, often characterized by large expressive eyes and exaggerated facial expressions that convey a wide range of emotions. Toriyama's characters typically have sleek, well-defined outlines, athleticism, and agility, especially in action-oriented series like Dragon Ball. One notable aspect of Toriyama's character design is his ability to create diverse and memorable characters, each with their own unique appearance and personality traits. He used things from his daily life as a reference to design characters, including animals, which he really liked. Since he was a kid, he had a lot of different pets. Some of these pets actually inspired characters he made. Toriyama loved cars and motorcycles, which he got from his dad. His dad used to race motorcycles and had a brief stint running an auto repair shop. Even though Toriyama himself didn't know much about fixing cars, this love for vehicles influenced his designs in his different works. His vehicles' designs are unique, blending modern elements with futuristic or sci-fi style. This unparalleled ability for character design did not remain only in his work as a mangaka, as he made many designs for video games, of which many of them have become cult works, such as Dragon Quest. Chrono Trigger. Tobal number 1. And Blue Dragon. Toriyama also made lots of illustrations, album covers, book covers, mascots, and logos. As we wrap up our journey into the world of Akira Toriyama, it's clear that his impact on manga, anime, and pop culture as a whole is immeasurable. From the whimsical adventures of Dr. Slump to the epic battles of Dragon Ball and beyond, Toriyama's creativity, imagination, and artistic prowess had a deep impact on hearts of millions worldwide. His ability to create iconic characters, captivating storylines, and imaginative worlds has not only entertained generations but also inspired countless artists and creators across the globe. Toriyama's contribution to the manga and anime industry have helped to shape its evolution into the global phenomenon it is today. As we continue to celebrate his legacy, let us remember Akira Toriyama as more than just a manga artist. He was a creative force whose work will continue to inspire and entertain for generations to come. We are about to embark on a journey through the life of a man who not only revolutionized these art forms, but also left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape of Japan and the world. His name is Osamu Tezuka, a name that resonates with fans of manga and anime across the globe. Known as the god of manga and often referred to as the Walt Disney of Japan, Tezuka's influence on the world of art and entertainment is immeasurable. From his early days in Osaka to his rise as a pioneering manga artist and animated film writer, Tezuka's life was as colorful and dynamic as the characters he created. His works, which range from the iconic Astro Boy to the thought-provoking Buddha, have captivated audiences for decades and continue to inspire new generations of artists and storytellers. Osamu Tezuka was born on November 3, 1928 in Toyonaka City, Osaka. He was the eldest of 3 children. His family was prosperous and well-educated. His father Yutaka worked in management at Sumitomo Metals. His grandfather Taro was a lawyer, and his great-grandfather Ryowan and great-great-grandfather Ryosen were doctors. Tezuka was an extremely imaginative boy who grew up in a liberal family exposed to manga and animation. His father had a small passion for manga and had a healthy collection in the house. He also introduced Tezuka to 2 of his biggest influences, Walt Disney and Max Fleischer, This exposure at an early age is no doubt responsible for the path Tezuka would choose later in life. Tezuka started to draw his own manga around his second year of elementary school. Even though his parents were strict disciplinarians, they were supportive of Tezuka's artistic interests. As a result, they kept him well supplied with sketchbooks and art materials. After nearly losing both arms to infection as a teenager, Tezuka decided he wanted to study medicine in order to help others as his doctor helped him. All through med school, he kept up his hobby of manga. Shortly after entering, he sold his first comic to an Osaka children's newspaper. The comic was a 4-panel series called Diary of Ma-chan. This was Tezuka's first step into the limelight. Tezuka began what was known as the manga revolution in Japan with his new Treasure Island, published in 1947. His early success laid the foundation for his future works. Tezuka's work during this period, including the creation of Astro Boy, brought him national fame and marked his foray into animation. Astro Boy first appeared in 1951 in a supporting role in the series Captain Atom, created by Osamu Tezuka himself. He reappeared as a main character in Tetsuwan Atomu, literally Atom Astro, a year later. The manga and the subsequent television series are set in the future, in a world where robots are commonplace and cars can fly. The Astro Boy manga started in 1952, a few years after World War, as Japan entered its healing phase. The setting, with futuristic skyscrapers and flying cars amid a familiar Tokyo backdrop, provided them with something to aspire towards. The young, bright character of Astro Boy was designed to help inspire the new generation. Astro Boy is said to be the first popular anime created based on a manga, providing the foundation for the animation of popular comics. Without Astro Boy and its creator, Japanese manga and anime might not have seen the great success that followed and continues to this day. In 1963, Astro Boy was serialized and adapted for television. The same year, it was bought by U.S. network NBC. For many at the time, it was their first encounter with Japanese culture. Tezuka produced numerous works during his career. His works were color-coded according to the target readers. He created more than 700 volumes of manga, encompassing an estimated 150,000 pages of drawings. He also produced another 200,000 pages of storyboards and scripts for nearly 500 episodes of a variety of popular animated TV series and numerous award-winning short and feature-length animated films. Among many of his major works are Kimba the White Lion. This story tells the tale of a young cub whose family is killed en route to a zoo before being shipwrecked on the Arabian Peninsula. Kimba's story is an emotional tale about self-discovery and overcoming adversity. In 1994, controversy arose over the possible connection of the Disney film The Lion King to Kimba, the White Lion. Fans in Japan, and the United States demanded that the Disney company acknowledge the use of characters and events from the Japanese production in their film. The situation was left in controversy due to statements by the Disney company that no one in the company had heard of Kimba until after The Lion King was released. Metropolis. Metropolis takes place in the near future, where humans coexist with their robot slaves. The manga explores themes of the nature of humanity in a technological society. Princess Knight. Considered one of the first shoujo manga aimed at a teenage girl demographic, Princess Knight tells the story of Sapphire, a young princess who has to pretend to be a male prince to be able to inherit the throne. Its cartoony style has drawn comparisons to Disney's Snow White, and it has inspired such works as Sailor Moon and Card Captor Sakura. Apollo's Song, telling the tale of a sociopath named Shogo, raised without love and cursed with an eternity of damnation, where he's doomed to find love, then lose over and over until the end of time. Black Jack. It tells the story of a rogue surgeon who can perform miracles for the right price. Phoenix is considered Tezuka's life's work. The series consists of 12 books, each telling a separate, self-contained story and taking place in a different era. The cycle of stories traces humanity's pursuit of immortality. Tezuka passed away from stomach cancer in 1989. His death had an immediate impact on the Japanese public and other cartoonists. A museum was constructed in Takarazuka dedicated to his memory and life works, and Tezuka received many posthumous awards. Several animations were in production at the time of his death, along with the final chapters of Phoenix, which were never released. Osamu Tezuka's influence on the world of manga and anime is immeasurable. His works have left a significant impact on pop culture, making him a true legend in the industry. Tezuka's enduring legacy continues to inspire and entertain people all over the world. His life and works serve as a testament to his genius and his profound love for art and humanity. As we continue to enjoy and learn from his creations, Tezuka's spirit lives on, reminding us of the power of imagination and the endless possibilities of creativity.